From Animal Farm, who wrote it?
George Orwell.
Same executive?
Yeah, he wrote that as well.
I was thinking it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, once again, to not forget about 1984 is that, like, yeah, while the government did do stuff, is that ultimately the citizens had to. What happened was there was an anti-intellectualism. It was skepticism in overdrive, basically. Basically, what happened, it was that, for one reason or another, or basically what it is that, like, because of all the competing sources for information that people had, everybody just got frustrated and say, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? We're starting over, so they went and burned the shit. And then the government, and the thing is that, like, that's what's so funny. You gave your power away because the government was kind of like, oh shit, they're doing what we've, only dreamed, this whole time. And now we can come in and start feeding them. They gave us the power and shit. And so to go into that about how skepticism and anti-intellectualism and just criticism goes too far is to talk.
Disarming people,
is to talk about what I see as there are different movements that are doing this and different motivations for it. But like what I'm trying to allude to is the motivation of over skepticism in the sciences, and one of them is in the fat body acceptance movement. So it's like, so of course, it's like, nobody should be getting made fun of or bullied, saying for their body types or something. You're not a bad person if you don't have the best diet or exercise routine, or if your look and aesthetic doesn't cater to the gaze of a particular group. Saying fuck all that noise. But then also, it's like, once again, when I've following social media or keeping up with certain activist movements and shit, and seeing that there are some people with quite a few followers who are just saying things that are just completely anti-scientific. Like, I saw a person who wrote that, a prominent activist online, on Twitter at least, it seems, who wrote that no study can show that diet and exercise helps to make a person healthier or lose weight and keep weight off. And I was just like...
And everybody's like, yeah, that's fine.
And I was just like... And I had to read it over a few times because I was like, what kind of dystopian shit is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking about in my life, or just thinking about, basic fundamental things. Like, nobody's saying that, like, exercise will cure all forms of disease, but, like, having a certain level of activity and watching what you eat can have, benefits on your body and shit. But there are some people who are so caught up, it's the identity politics, making this facet of themselves so critical to their identity, and then also the skepticism towards an institution where, like, all of our institutions basically are in question now. Everything's in flux, from politics to science to the arts and shit to, our neighbors and shit. Basically because of the internet, social media and shit.
Yeah, everyone has an opinion, a voice. Yeah.
Everybody has an opinion, a voice, but also we all live in glass houses, and it's more clear than ever before, and the mask is off. People can't hide behind their bullshit.
As the chunky person right now,
Yeah.
I would like to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm chunky and but I take care of myself. Yes, there are days that it's like you work and it's like I can't fucking cook all the time at home and there's not
an expectation.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, like people like that's an extreme to me, because I only follow like body positive people who tell you, hey, don't listen to what these idiots say. Just focus on yourself and your health. That's that's body positivity.
No, absolutely.
But to tell someone that's like it's okay to eat your feelings, no, bro, it's not. Because it's like it's all about, I don't know. People don't understand this, that like you don't understand unless you're chunky or you've been chunky. Like it's like it is true. It's all in mental health, because we see, like, for me when I was younger, for me food, it was like a comfort. And now it's like, now that you're older, it's like, no, I don't need that shit. Like, and also like whenever, because the comfort the food that would bring me comfort is because people would talk shit to me. People like I've always been a chunky child. I've always been made fun of, and I would use that as like an excuse to like, fuck myself. It's what nobody understands is when overfeeding yourself, bulimia, is a form of suicide. It is, because you're trying to kill morbid obesity. You're trying to kill yourself slowly, and nobody understands that, because it's like you think of it as like, oh, why can't they just stop eating? It's like, no, because you keep telling them that they're disgusting and they're ugly, and they think that about themselves. Like there's so many times that I've been in depression where I was like, yeah, I'm not worthy. What's the point? I'm gonna just keep eating until I die. What's the point? And nobody understands and also with another person who has like a different what's a different disability, because obesity is a disability. Well, to some people, you know, because like
Yeah, it can be.
yeah, like because if you're taking care of yourself, you know, like you're in that stage of like, not stage, but in that journey of like getting to where you want to be personally, not where somebody else wants you to be. You know, it's personally like your health, because nobody knows your fucking health. Everybody's different. My cousin's uncle, I don't know what the fuck he is, but he's family, you know, Latinos, we're all family. He's the skinniest person. He's skinny, and he would run all the time, and he got diabetes. Okay? I'm chunky as hell. I'm not saying I'm like the most healthiest, but thank goodness, because I take care of myself, I don't have diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure, none of that shit, you know? But it's like, nobody understands that it's a mental health thing. Like, and then these people that are like, you know, do your thing, I don't give a shit about what you do, because, you know, I'm a grown-ass fucking adult, and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm not gonna listen to what you say. Yeah, just because this person says, like, oh, scientist says, like, no, you're a dumbass, like, I'm gonna do, but again, like you said, like, a lot of people they deify these people, and they're just like, you're right, but you're destroying your followers. You're making them seem that, like, that this is okay. I mean, it's okay to love yourself to a certain extent, but love is not like hurting yourself.
Yeah, love is that self-acceptance. Self-acceptance shouldn't just be about confirmation.
Exactly.
and about encouraging your indulgence or what you already do. Because the thing is, it's a way for you to act as if you're self-reflecting, but you're just reaffirming the status quo of what you were doing before. You're basically finding a way to tell yourself, to justify to yourself to keep doing what you were doing before, and just lean into it and ignore criticism, because any level of criticism is just bigotry, which is just not the case. Because there was another Twitter, and once again, these are just Twitter as far as I know. I don't really know how prominent they are, but it's like, it's one of those things where, like, you see the number of likes and shares and comments of people supporting it, and you're just like, okay, I have to be working with somebody who thinks this or has seen this, or I have to have encountered somebody who, you know, has this idea and shit. Like, it's not like this shit just exists just online. This does reflect real people. But this other Twitterer said that they were basically criticizing people who talk about how they've improved their life through diet and exercise, and saying that, like, oh, you're claiming that you feel so much better about yourself. No, you feel better that people aren't making fun of you. You're in denial and shit. I was like, how are you just going to reduce somebody else's autonomy? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, just reducing the work that they did and the being critical of themselves and shit, and just saying that, like, you're just projecting your own shit, you know, onto them, and
Your own self-hate.
Your own self-hate and shit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all good.
Oh, it's kind of like when people like, oh man, I always find this ridiculous. It's like when people make fun of have people working out in the gym. It's like they're working their asses off. Like, what the fuck you want them to do? You want them to work out or be fat? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you gonna be honestly, like, I always think that, like, we're all fucking hypocrites. That's why I don't listen to what people like. If you talk shit about my family and shit, I'll fuck you up. Yeah. But if you talk shit about me, I don't give a shit about your opinion. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh, you're another fucking person? It's just so stupid. But like I said, like, they're just people who are at the extreme of that. You know?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like there's always someone who's gonna be at the extreme of that. And, like, you know, do whatever you want. You know, I'm not your mama. You know, do whatever the fuck you want. But just know what the fuck you're doing and who you're influencing. You know?
Oh, one more thing before I go to Matt real quick. The reason, the tie-in to that stuff of identity politics, and then also the heavy skepticism, is that how it's also the basis of a lot of other movements, like the anti-vaxxer movement, flat earthers, because these are not people, this doesn't just come from being ignorant or, you know, lacking curiosity and shit. It's that it's based on a completely different set of reasoning, you know what I'm saying, than like logic and science and shit like that. It's about, no, these institutions or these groups of people are known to lie at us, or we've discovered that they've been lying or fabricating this thing. Yeah. So it's like, oh, that means throw everything out. It's a very reductionist or very, like, narrow way of looking at stuff, like, similar to, like, the whole both sides are equal and shit. It's like, no, both sides aren't equal. And it's like, just because somebody is wrong about these 2 or 3 things, that doesn't mean the hundreds of thousands of other things of years of science and articles and shit is also up for debate. It's like each case is different, but it's like some people don't know how to make that distinction and be able to say, okay, this was a couple of bad negative experiences. It doesn't change the trend. And the thing is that this is different than just like personal life and shit, because science is something that outlives, information and shit is something that outlives people.
Yeah.
So
It's real data.
it's data, exactly. Data.
And here's real data actually backing up, because you're talking about eating your feelings, and they're actually, because are you guys all aware of sumo wrestlers?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. No.
Some people don't even know. There are people who don't even know they exist. So sumo wrestlers are the one particular. Well, I won't say the one, but the people who eat the way they do, a lot of like massive amounts of food, but the food that they eat isn't processed, and it's this Japanese food, chanko nabe, and it uses organic materials. They boil the salad, but it's in large amounts.
And that soup, what's that soup called?
Chanko.
Right?
Chanko nabe, and they eat a lot of that, and they're not unhealthy, and they are big stomachs. And the thing is, they don't have the heart problems or the diabetes or any of the disease.
Because they're athletes.
Yeah, because they compete every day to train, and it's not until they stop.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, it's not until they stop training that they start to get the negative health effects. And they start, if they just sit around all day, watch TV, whatever. Like, you could train in your 90s. There are people who dance in their 100-year-old, 90-year-old dancing and working out and everything like that. So there's, it's live. That's a big part of it. Yeah, you could definitely eat a lot. You could definitely have a big stomach and be healthy. Yeah. It's really in your activity. It's in, I try to keep the movement part of it. And, that's why, like, the sumo, that's always something to keep for everybody who talks about, like, body positivity and, the whole eating, like, you should eat as much as you want versus you should always count every single calorie. The sumo wrestler thing is always should be there to keep into your head.
Yeah, you're right, because, like, I have friends, like, we have friends who are fitness trainers and stuff. Like, my friend, he is buff as hell, but he's like, I eat as much as I want, but I eat healthy shit. Like he eats, like, have you guys heard of Buddha bowls? They're like, you just have chickpeas and, like, healthy stuff. You can eat a whole fucking bowl, feel satisfied, like, work out, and you'll feel amazing. Like, it just depends on what you eat.
Yeah, it depends on what the food is.
Exactly. And I was gonna bring my other point that, like, the problem also is that all the shit that's readily available is shit.
Yeah.
Like, fast food, like, we're talking about this, like, I work graveyard. And, like, people who work graveyard, we don't have that much, like, variety of where the fuck to eat. So
I'll see you at Winco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I go to Winco.
But how come Winco? But even Wincos are not that common, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because they're worker owned and shit.
Yeah, they're employee owned. It's cool though. But it's sad that there's not, like, there's one in Pomona.
A lot of
all the way to fucking Fontana. And
Long
I'm just
Beach.
like,
a lot of food, and then that, of course, and then the issue of along with that is food. Food deserts.
Yeah.
It's that not everybody has a car. Some people got to take the bus or get an Uber and shit. To go get groceries. Like, I didn't realize how grateful. Like, when I was living in North Carolina, I would have I had the benefit of being able to walk more and shit. But then I was thinking about when I moved back to Cali, I was like, damn, if I didn't have a fucking car, if my family didn't bless me with a car and shit, I'd have to be spending, money, $10, $15, $20 just to go buy groceries.